Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Behind the Cape. I'm data superhero Keith Belanger. I'm joined today by fellow data superhero Ruchi Soni. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, this is very exciting. So today you're going to do a little bit of what Snowflake has for us in the data governance space. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you got planned for
Sure.
us today?
Sure, Keith. And hi, everyone. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for, calling me again. Quick introduction. I am Ruchi Soni. I'm a technology leader and a multi-cloud enterprise architect. My day-to-day job involves, helping customers do data migration, data modernization, and basically accelerate their, data transformation journey to cloud. I'm a Snowflake, preacher by heart. I love in Snowflake community building. I'm a Snowflake data superhero, and I'm the proud author of couple of books also. Thanks for
Great.
calling me here, Keith. Yeah.
No problem. I love having you here. Always full of insightful information. So why don't we switch over here to your slides and get started?
Sure.
Okay, take it away.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Keith. And thanks everyone for joining in. Today, the topic that I'm going to share is all about how Snowflake is revolutionizing data governance with Snowflake Horizon. As I said, I'm Snowflake Data Superhero. I take care of, a Snowflake India chapter. I'm a part of, I take care of Delhi user group. So I've just put some links out here. If you want to join, go ahead. Uh, so let's dig in. Now, before going into data governance or any topic with respect to Snowflake, it's important to understand the history. So probably I just have one or two slides which talk about Snowflake Data Cloud. We should all know, we should all remember, why do we need Snowflake Data Cloud? So it's all about a unified data platform. It's all about a fully managed infrastructure which simplifies, which scales, which governs, because you have auto suspend, you have auto resume, you can scale out, scale up, etc. And then now you can also distribute and monetize to nearly 10,000 customers which are there in Snowflake using the power of AI Data Cloud. Now, how do you do that? This is using Snowflake unique architecture. So as you can see, there are different layers. I am sure a lot of you would have already, been through this architecture, but it's always good to, remember it whenever you're getting into deep dive topics. So in the center, you have the storage. Storage could be, an S3, which is on AWS, or it could be the Azure blob in case of Azure. So it's all the storage layer, which can scale up and down. Then there is an elastic compute layer, through which you can, it's all about your virtual warehouses, right? So you can scale up, you can have a lot of warehouses executed based on the user requirements. Then there is a cloud services layer. After that, we are talking about SnowGrid, which is all about cross-cloud and global functionality. And then definitely we have GenAI. All of us are talking about GenAI. My last session with Keith was about GenAI. All the latest advancements in Cortex and the related areas which Snowflake is doing.
It's amazing how those of us who've been in Snowflake for a while, that diagram is expanding.
Yes,
When we
yes,
first
that's
started like
right.
4 or 5 years ago, it was like 3 layers, and now it's really grown.
Exactly. And I think Snowflake is smart. They're understanding the needs of business, and based on that, all the services, etc., are being added. If it's GenAI, it's bringing a lot of GenAI services on a plate. Take GenAI, take Cortex, and now it's all about data governance.
Yep.
So I agree with you, Keith. Yes. Now let's understand what do business need, because before going into data governance, let's understand what do business need. It's a very simple requirement. Business wants access to the right data at the right time so that they can, derive the right insights. But to do that, you need to know your data. You need to have a simple security and governance layer, and you need to control your data. Now we know that there have been, we are talking about a development of GenAI models, all the models in GenAI space, Snowflake services coming in. So because of that, business also wants to, unlock the value from data as quickly as possible, right? Because all those services are actually bringing data close to business. That's what Snowflake is doing. You have Snowpark, you have Snowpark container services, etc. So it's all about making sure that the value is derived quickly. But it's important that there should be a right data governance layer, because when we are talking about sensitive data, when we are talking about PII data, organization want to make sure, because they're actually moving their data to cloud, right? So there has to be right guardrails that should be in place to make sure that only the right data which is needed should be given to users. So users should get access to only that data where they have the right, right authorization. And that's why we talk about that we should control data. Now, again, it's important to know what is changing. So we have come a long way, right? We started with traditional architecture, then we are talking about a modern data platform, because the big data is all the, the variety of data is structured, unstructured, everything that's coming in. So what is changing? See, earlier processes were feeding data, but now actually data is feeding the processes, right? Because you have synthetic data, you have different types of data. So actually data is feeding the processes. And when Gen AI, we are bringing data closer to business. And that is why it's important to have responsible AI, right? Because you are bringing data close to business. So again, you should have the right guardrails. Now there is multi-model data, and multi-model data has all the intelligence embedded in it. And that's why the beauty of GPT-4, etc., comes in. And then the type of data, I mean, as I said, variety of data, structured, unstructured, streaming, synthetic. Now the data exchange should be easy, and the focus is on value-based consumption. So this is, what we say, what is changing overall. But now what are the problems? So there are still on-the-ground challenges. And because of these on-the-ground challenges, it's becoming difficult for business to get the right value of data. Now, what are those on the ground challenges? This slide talks about that poor data quality. A big problem. There is, different types of data which is coming from different source systems, but we are not having the right data quality checks. Then redundant data sets and pipelines. There is no standard access provisioning. So you need to make sure that the right access control models are in place so that only the right consumer can get access to the data. Then, there is lack of standardization or ontologies. There is no visibility on the value delivered via the data platform. So these are all the challenges. And that is where, Snowflake actually identified something, and we call it a Snowflake Horizon. Snowflake Horizon is actually a built-in governance solution. It has a lot of services together because it takes care of compliance, security, privacy, interoperability, and access. Now, what I would say is that couple of these services were existing before, before the word horizon was coined. Some of them were there. But then as the need of data access grew, then, Snowflake thought that it's important for us to make sure that some more services are added, and there should be a proper solution or a framework that should be created. And that is why they mentioned that they launched something called Snowflake Horizon. Now, what are the benefits of Snowflake Horizon? So in the previous slide, we spoke about the problems. Now let's understand how does Snowflake solves those problems. And in the subsequent slide, I'll give you, the services that Snowflake Horizon provides. Now, through Snowflake Horizon, you can quickly resolve. So first is you can quickly identify, and then you can also resolve. Now, I'm talking about a cross-cloud security risk. A lot of organizations now, they do not want to depend on one cloud. They want to so they have their data on-prem, they have some data in AWS, they have some data in Azure, etc. Snowflake Horizon provides a solution through which you can resolve these cross-cloud security risk, and this can be universally implemented access control across clouds. Then it's very easy to apply. There's a lot of services, as I mentioned, and I'll show you some of the services which are there in Horizon, and it's easy to apply. You can quickly search, discover, access, and share the governed data. So there's something called universal search through which access is easily possible. Then, since everybody is talking about GenAI, so there's a lot of GenAI based services, GenAI based controls that have been added in it so that your data is overall protected. So we are talking about advancing security, lineage, and sharing capability to help organizations, better govern AI. And then there's a built-in UI, and I'll talk about some of the UIs that Horizon gives in, through which it's very easy to to see the policies. It's very easy to see the access control, etc., that has been implemented. So those are at a high level. Those are the benefits of Horizon.
Yeah, it's really I like what you're saying here because I know a lot of the benefits of using Snowflake is being able to have, sharing that data across your cloud platforms, right? Sharing your data geographically, across different regions and stuff like that. So being able to secure that data no matter where it goes, and being comfortable that your data is secure, that's really fantastic.
Exactly. So we are talking about things like, data clean rooms, Keith. So
Yep.
financial organizations, for them, data clean room is actually a boom, right? It brings a lot of benefits to them. They can share their data. They can, make sure that the data never leaves their organization. So those are all the beauty of the services that Snowflake Horizon provides. So I completely agree with you. Those are the things that every organization is looking into.
Yep.
Now, Now, what I'm going to do now in this section is Horizon gives a lot of options. There are a lot of services. I want to specifically talk about the services that are very recently announced in Snowflake Summit. Now, some of these are, public. Some of these are in private preview. Some of these will be general available soon. But it's always good to, take a look into what we are providing, what Snowflake is providing, what Snowflake will provide. So if you go to the circle that the horizon circle that I showed before, I call it as a 360-degree horizon circle. It talks about different sections. So let's first start with interoperability. What does Horizon provide in interoperability? And that is where we talk about Polaris catalog integration. Now, what does it do? Now, we are talking about an integration between Snowflake Horizon and the open Polaris catalog, through which you can bring iceberg tables. You can all govern all those iceberg tables in Snowflake. So we know that iceberg tables have been introduced, but it's important to make sure that you govern them inside Snowflake, and that is where we have the Polaris catalog integration with Horizon, which has been very recently announced. So we are talking about governing and collaborating on iceberg tables in Snowflake, even if they were created somewhere else. Now, how do you use it? It is very simple. You have to just create an integration object in Snowflake, and through that, you connect with the Polaris catalog, and then you sync the iceberg table. So, as I said, it's very easy to use, and now you have all the governance of your iceberg tables, even if it's created somewhere else, that you can do internally in Snowflake. So that's the first thing that we are talking about. Now, universal search, as the name suggests, so this is the access section. Now, let's go to the access section of Horizon. So, we are talking about universal search. Universally, you can search anything. So, you can search and discover tables, you can search and discover views, functions, procedures, marketplace listing, etc. All can be done through Horizon. Now, how do you do it? It actually leverages AI, which means that, as a business owner, I don't know how to write code. So, using natural language processes, natural language, I can just, mention what I need, and through this universal search, I'll get the required results. So, imagine it is making it very easy for business because they do not know technical language, but they still want to be closer to, they want really quick access. They don't want to rely on a coder, so that can be done easily using universal search. They can easily discover tables. They can see what they have access to, what uh, what is there in the system, and how this can be done. It is all through Snowsight. So Snowsight is a very beautiful, the dashboards that have been provided by Snowflake, and it is continuously adding KPIs on top of it. So you business can log into Snowsight, and they can easily search, and they can, using the natural language, and they can get access to, or they can find the tables, views, procedures, etc., etc. So that's all about universal search. Now, again, for access, we are talking about internal marketplace. Now, there is a marketplace and there is an internal marketplace. Now, what is an internal marketplace? It's all about internal to the organization. So, it's a directory of all the data products which is shared with you by other teams within your company. So, basically, what Snowflake wanted, and that's a problem statement that came from organizations, that they wanted a better collaboration within their organization. They wanted to make sure that there should be a single directory through which data products can be accessed, data products can be curated. Because as I said, from traditional data architecture, we are moving towards modern data platform, and modern data platform is all about data products. Now, how do you use it? Very simple. There are organizational profiles in listing, and they can be easily shared within organizations, and user can search through these listings, and they can identify what they need. So internal marketplace is for internal organization use. Now, for access, there is another thing. We call it as ULL, Uniform Listing Locator. It's just like a URL, Uniform Research Locator. It's ULL. Now, what does ULL does? It's actually a unique ID for a listing in the AI data cloud that can be embedded within a SQL query. So let's say I need access to a listing, and I just want to put that listing in a SQL query. Then I can get that ID of that listing, and I can use that ID in the SQL query, and through that I can query that listing. So basically, we are talking about accessing listing contents across regions and clouds. So you don't need privileges like CreateDB that was needed earlier. So that is what is all about uniform listing locator. Now in the access area, there's another thing called AI powered object description. So as I said in the beginning, because of Gen AI and other things which are embedded in Snowflake, we are talking about Cortex. We are talking about the models which are the external models, etc. Now Snowflake has started utilizing them internally. So this AI powered object description, it actually comes from there. So we are talking about using AI, which means using the power of all these models, using the power of Cortex to allow consumers to automatically generate relevant descriptions and comments to tables and views. Again, imagine making job. See, it all makes job easier for people who are not deep coders, right? And that's one part of the organization. But then there is another part of the organization who really want to get access to the data. They don't know the coding language, etc. So if you have all these things generated within Snowflake, then it will help business understand what are the tables they need, what are the tables they do not need. So similarly, there's something called Object Insight Interface, which actually provides more context because it gives you relevant insights about the popularity, the access, the quality, and there are other KPIs that we can talk about. How do you use it? You use Snowflake Copilot. And using Snowflake Copilot, so if anyone remembers the last session that I had, the one that I recorded with Keith, we all spoke about Snowflake Gen AI structure, and it was all about making sure that using AI in minutes, things in seconds, and making sure that the application is configurable quickly. And that is where one of the things that is internally coming through Cortex is Snowflake Copilot, right? So we are talking about using Snowflake Copilot to automatically generate descriptions. So that's what is being done in AI-powered object descriptions. Now, after access, let's go to privacy. Now, as Keith, we were talking about data clean rooms. So Snowflake data clean rooms have been there, and a lot of organizations have started using them. And it's all about giving access to the right data to the people, or two organizations coming together in a clean room. But then again, they are not. The data is not moving, right? So that's what's about data clean room. So data clean room existed earlier. Now it came under the umbrella of Horizon, and it comes under privacy because we are talking about a Snowflake native app, which actually makes it easy to build and use data clean rooms. Now, we already know the benefits of data clean rooms, but now we are talking about creating a native app. So again, the benefits are simple. It's all about unlocking the value from sensitive data, making sure that there is secure collaboration. For the finance organizations, this is a very, very, good benefit. I have been working with a lot of finance clients which are actually using Snowflake data clean rooms. They are using the existing options that are being provided, and they are asking for more. So that's the beauty of this. Now, since we are talking about a native app, so you can easily use it by taking that app on Snowflake Marketplace, and using that you can easily start creating data clean rooms. So what we are doing now is we are making it easy to create Snowflake data clean rooms with Horizon. Now, under privacy, there is another very, very important thing: synthetic data generation. Now, all of us know the importance of synthetic data. Synthetic data is, data which is like production, but it doesn't have any PIA data. It doesn't have any synthetic data, because the objective is that we want to test our code to the data which is as close to production data as possible. Right? And that is where Horizon helps, because it actually helps you to create a copy of the target tables, which actually resembles, everything which we are talking about: distribution, correlation, joins, etc. And then you can run a function to create synthetic data set. So you have a table, you can create a copy of the table, and then you can run a function to generate synthetic data. And this synthetic data can actually be used for your actual testing. This is very, very important. And with the Gen AI space, the model training that we are talking about, it actually takes a lot of lot of processing power to train the models. So it's important that the data should also be as close to the production data, so that we make sure that we don't have to repeat the cycle multiple times. And again, model training is a continuous process, but it's all about accuracy. So the more accurate data would be, the more accurate model would be trained, and this synthetic data generation actually helps in that area. Now, compliance, one of the favorite topics. If you remember the challenges slide that I showed, which had a globe in the center, we were talking about data quality. Data quality monitoring is a problem, and that is where Snowflake has stepped in very smartly. They have given some out of the box metrics, and these metrics can be used for to measure the quality of data. So I understand there can be frameworks that can be created, right? So till now we were creating all the frameworks, which means that you have capture, curate, consume. Between capture and curate layer, you were actually, you know, um, creating all those functions, and then you used to check every record of source, and then if does not matches, then it used to go into a let's say error table, processed again, etc. Now that becomes little easier, because now there are some KPIs which are already there, that Snowflake provides. You can easily use those KPIs, which means you can easily use those functions, and then you can see what is the quality of data. Again, this is a space where continuously things are being added, because there are data quality is a vast area, so there can be multiple requirements that can come from business. So we are talking about things that Snowflake provides. We are talking about things that you can add on top of it, and then you can create a overall data quality solution for customers, which is becoming very, very important. Things like data quality, things like data observability, all these things are being tackled through Snowflake solution, which we call as Horizon. Now this is, I was talking about observability, and that is where Lineage Visualization comes in, because as the name suggests, we are talking about creating a lineage, right? So it gives you a bird's eye view. You can go from, let's say, source, and you can go to target, and you can create a lineage. So we are talking about upstream and downstream lineage creation. So Snowflake supported lineage on tables, and it is now adding lineage on views. So as I said, some of the things are in GA, some of the things are in private preview, but lineage on tables is there. We are talking about now creating lineage on views, and who knows, eventually we are talking about lineage on the complex functions, let's say stored procedures, etc., etc. So this is a very important factor that can help you solve the data observability problem. I was on discussion with a client couple of days back, and they were just talking about data observability. They told me that bring me a solution that gives data observability. So this can be very helpful in that case. And Trust Center. So Trust Center is all about admins. It's for admins, it's for governors, it's for stewards. You want to see what are the security and compliance risks. You want one place, which means there's no site UI, and you want to see the security risk, compliance risk across clouds, across regions. You get it in the Trust Center. Benefits are quite obvious, because we are talking about identifying the security issues, which means that prevent escalations, which means that you can identify all the anomalies, and you can eventually um, use it to save the important resources of the organization, right? Because all the information is at your disposal. So that is about Snowflake Trust Center, and that is it. So this is all about a quick glimpse of the different services that Horizon provides, Keith. I just wanted our viewers to know what is coming new, solve their data governance problems, because I have been uh, facing those issues, and I was waiting for solutions coming from Snowflake. So here it is, Horizon. And as I said, you should always develop a passion for learning, and if you do, you will never cease to grow. That's who I am, Ruchi Soni, Snowflake practice lead in Accenture. Back to you, Keith.
That was fantastic, Aruchi. That was a great presentation, very insightful. Thanks for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, it's always love to talk about, the thing you love.
Yeah.
And this particular thing is very close to my heart because it's a lot of problems that we solve for business and it's all in data governance space. So Snowflake Horizon rocks.
Yeah, actually, it's great to see data governance and the data getting closer and closer together. So, hey, for
Yeah.
everybody, below you'll be able to see all of the links where you can find out more about Ruchi's books and other information where you can follow along with us. But thanks everybody for joining us again for another episode of Behind the Cape. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Keith. Bye, everyone.